All right, let's talk about drug quality. When you hear that phrase, what pops into your head? Probably a scientist in a lab coat looking through a microscope running some final test, right? But here's a thought. What if I told you that by the time a drug even gets to that final check, its quality has pretty much already been locked in? Today, we're going to dig into why real quality in the pharma world isn't about that last minute test. It's about the entire system behind it.
So, to kick things off, let's tackle a huge misconception about where quality really comes from. It's a common belief, but it puts all the pressure in one very specific and, frankly, wrong place. So, let me just ask you straight up, when something goes wrong with a medicine, who's on the hook for its quality? I bet your first instinct is to point your finger at one particular department.
And yeah, that's the usual answer. So many people think quality is the sole job of the quality assurance department, the QA team. They're seen as these final gatekeepers who give the thumbs up or thumbs down. But honestly, thinking that way is not just an oversimplification, it's actually pretty dangerous. Okay, so let's switch gears and look at this from a different angle. How do the regulators, the folks who actually come in and do the inspections, see it? Well, their focus is on something else entirely. And this quote right here, it says it all. It's a complete shift in perspective. Auditors aren't showing up to test the knowledge of one person in QA. No, they're there to audit the whole framework, the entire set of processes and structures that the company works within. They are looking at the system itself. And here's why that matters so much. You can have the most brilliant, most experienced people on your team, but if the system they are forced to work in is flawed, mistakes are going to happen. It's almost inevitable. The root cause of a failure is rarely just one person. It's usually a weak system. So, if the system is the answer, what does a strong one even look like? Well, it has a name, and it basically acts as the backbone for everything we know as good manufacturing practices, or GMP. It's called a quality management system, or QMS for short. The best way to think about it is like the company's operating system, but specifically for quality. It's not one document. It's this whole interconnected web of policies, procedures, and clear responsibilities. And its entire reason for being is to make absolutely sure that every single batch of medicine is just as safe and effective as the one before it. So, what are the signs of a weak QMS? What does a broken system look like in the real world? Well, for one, you might see a lack of clear written instructions, what we call standard operating procedures or SOPs, or maybe when things go wrong, a deviation from the plan, it's not handled properly. Or perhaps the system for fixing those problems and making sure they don't happen again, which is known as CAPA, is just ineffective. To a regulator, any of these are huge flashing red flags. You see, a strong QMS isn't just some dusty binder that sits on a shelf. Its real power comes from how it connects and syncs up every single part of the operation. Just think about a normal workflow. You've got the production team on the floor actually making the drug. Then you have quality control, QC, in the lab, running all the tests and generating data. After that, quality assurance, QA, comes in to review everything and give the final sign-off. But what keeps all of them on the same page, following the same rules? What's the common thread? That's the QMS. It's the unifying system that holds it all together. And this brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway here. People mix up GMP and QMS all the time. But think of it like this. Good manufacturing practices, GMP, are the rules. They tell you what you need to do. Things like keep your facility clean or calibrate your equipment. The quality management system, the QMS, is the framework that ensures you actually do it and that you do it correctly and consistently every single time. It's the how that makes the what happen. For a long time, having a really solid QMS was seen as a best practice. It was the mark of a top-tier company. But that whole landscape is shifting. In a lot of places, it's not just a good idea anymore, it's becoming the law. And to be specific, for manufacturers in India, the game has completely changed. The new revised Schedule M regulation now makes it mandatory to implement a full-blown pharmaceutical quality system. This isn't optional. It's a direct order to get in line with global standards. So why this big mandatory push? Well, because a strong QMS is the foundation for everything. Of course, it ensures you're compliant with regulations. That's just the ticket to play. More importantly, it is the ultimate safeguard for patient safety. And from a pure business standpoint, it's the only path to long-term sustainability. Because with a weak system, you're always just one bad batch or one failed inspection away from total disaster. Which brings us right back to where we started. A quality system isn't just some department or a boring checklist. It's the very backbone of a pharmaceutical company. It gives it the structure, the strength, to stand up to pressure and deliver for patients, time and time again. So the question I want to leave you with is this: how strong is your organization's backbone?